What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is our first podcast with Next Success. I'm Skylar Beitendorp.
I'm Adam Bastian, and today we're going to talk about goals. So let's just dive right into it.
Yeah, so how do we get started on this?
Into Next Success?
Next
Success. So we were, like a month and a half ago?
Yeah.
What did you say?
About that.
We went out to a fire. We had got some people together, invited Skylar, and he invited some people, and we had a fire at this place up in the canyon. And I just drove up there alone, and so everyone else, it was time to go. Everyone else was just kind of leaving. I was like, I'll put out the fire. I'll get it done because I came alone. Won't, sweat too much about it. And Skylar was like, no, I'll stay back with you. So I was like, oh, sweet, man. So there we were, just putting out the fire, just chit-chatting as we bonded a little bit. Story for another day. But so we just drove back together, and we started talking about life and kind of about what we're going through and what I've been through and what he's been through. And I don't know, we got on our goals, would you say?
Yeah, I kind of talked about some of the things we're wanting to accomplish in life, and one of those was like start a podcast. And we're like, what the crap? We realized we were like kind of doing the same thing, like
we were both
unknowingly.
I think we were both at different levels of it, though.
Yeah,
like we both wanted to do a podcast, but we were at different degrees or paths or like spots along the path to get there.
Right.
But then as the more we talked, we realized we wanted the same exact podcast to talk about the same exact things, to help people, through our words and like through inspiring them. And we're like, well, why don't we just try one together?
So now we're doing it.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, that's how that came to pass. And yeah, so we're going to talk about, obviously goals and like why we make goals. And one of my favorite sayings is if you don't know where you want to go, you're there. And it's like you got to set like a map of where you want to be in. I don't know, you can set goals however far out. 10-year goals, 1 week goals, even goals for the day, month, whatever. But like I make goals that way I know where I want to go. So that way I know what to do today so I can be where I want to be tomorrow. And without doing that, like when I don't do that, my days a lot of times get wasted. Like a lot of times, or like sometimes I will write down what I want to do the next day. Like I'll kind of plan the next day, like on a piece of paper. I'll do that right before I go to bed. That way, one, it's fresh in my mind, and two, as soon as I wake up, I see it, and I'm kind of already, I kind of just start my day knowing what I'm going to do, and I just start moving and get it done. And when I don't do that, the day's kind of, not as productive.
It's kind of drag on. Yeah. Why would you say you make or you plan out or you make those goals for your day?
Because I'd like to.
Like, what does it do for you? Does it just like provide direction in a little way, or like why, like deeper?
Yeah, I think it does provide direction, and I don't know. I remember being told once that whatever we do in the last I don't remember, maybe an hour or like 15 minutes before we go to bed, something like that. Our brain reviews that over and over and over and over while we're sleeping. And so by doing that right before I go to bed, I'm thinking about it, but then I'm thinking about it all night. That way, as soon as I wake up, I like kind of know what I'm going to do before I even do it. Like I've done like a lot of exercises where I visualize something and I kind of do the thing in my head before I do it in real life. And once I do that a couple times, I actually am able to perform better. Like this guy, he took like 3 groups of 10 people. This isn't totally accurate, but it's just my memory. But he took 3 groups of 10 people. He had one group practice shooting free throws, like, I don't know, 1 day a week for an hour. And then he had the other group do nothing. And the next group, he just had them visualize themselves, like stand in the gym and just close their eyes, and they would just shoot hoops in their mind. And so he like saw how good they were at the beginning, told them what to do, came back a week later, and the group that had visualized shooting free throws, they improved the most, which is wild. And so I think a lot of it is just telling our brains what we want to do so our bodies can follow.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty good. I've never heard that story before, but it makes sense because I think our brains or like our minds, I mean, like they're connected to like our physical being, right? They're
Yeah.
connected to everything. So if our mind's not there, we're not going to be there, right?
Right.
Like if you ever been to like school or work and you're not there, like you're there but you're not, like are you really learning from that day? Are you really being productive? I don't think so.
Right.
Like at my job, if I'm not like mentally there, it's super hard.
Dude, it's
It's
tough to
super
stay
hard.
present
Yeah.
sometimes. Like I'm definitely have conversations on a regular basis where someone's talking to me, but I'm like looking around, seeing who else is here, or I don't know, my brain's just thinking about what happened last night or something like that. It's staying present. It's a skill that takes time to get good at, to grow.
I agree. I
Um,
agree.
so okay, same question to you. Why do you make goals?
Why do I make goals?
Or what do you do?
I think, I don't know. I think goals are, I mean, I'm here because of a goal. I'm here because of, what I want to become in life. And like I made it to Utah on a goal and I kind of executed it. But I think I make goals because, like, for me, if I don't have a goal, if I don't have something to strive for, I'm not going to do anything. Like, I'm just going to be idle. I'm just going to be stagnant. I'm not going to learn. I'm just going to, like, I could really easily just like sit down on the couch or like on a computer and play games all day. Like that is not hard for me.
Yeah.
Like it's fun. I have a good time. It's like, why would I have to leave when I'm so content where I'm at now? But then when I start to thinking, I'm like, well, am I really changing people around me? Am I really changing myself? Like, I've had a goal since I was a kid, and I used to jokingly say it to my parents, or not jokingly, I was serious. They thought I was joking. They were like, what do you want to do when you grow up? I was like, I want to change the world, and
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, okay, whatever. And I was like, well, I don't know how, and I do not know when, but I know I'll do it. And even though I still don't know how, and I still don't know when, I think I want to do it. And I think the older I'm getting, I'm realizing kind of the way I want to do it. And that's through speaking. That's through my words. I want to like motivational speak. I want to speak to large audiences and tell my story of my life and get other people to tell the story of their life to give advice to other people who need that inspiration. Because I think everybody can be inspired through somebody's story. I think it's just the way that we share it. And so I've made those goals in my life, even just recently, to kind of step out of my comfort zone to get more into that. And so my goal to do that, to motivational speak or to get in front of audiences, I'm actually applying to be like a speaker, a presenter for it's like the suicide awareness for Utah.
Cool.
Yeah, I like saw a website for it and they needed volunteers and I saw that they had like a position for it. They're like, if you're interested in it. So I sent an email to the lady and I should be getting a call here soon for like before I start like volunteering or like what she thinks would be best. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So my effort to get out of that, I don't know. I think it all started from a goal because I want to like become a better man,
Yeah.
better person in my life.
Yeah. Because it's really easy to be stagnant.
Oh, super easy.
Yeah. Just to
Just
sit there,
chilling, dude.
watch TV, or to like I think the biggest thing for me is social media. Like just it's so easy to just sit on the couch and go from post to post. And before I know it, like at the end of the day, I'll look at like my screen time and it's far higher than I want. I'm pretty sure it's like 3-4 hours a day between everything, not just social media, but
Right.
but like that's 4 hours I could be doing anything
I know.
else.
I always think about what could I have accomplished in those,
Yeah, exactly. And like I think a lot of times people think to accomplish something you got to do big things every day, but really it's just like those small little wins that we have on a daily basis that get us to those bigger successes.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, like, why would you need to make goals now with what we have? You know, like
yeah,
it's like we have social media,
right.
like the store's right there. Like
Uh-huh.
we don't really need to like stretch ourselves very much to live.
Yeah, that's super true. Like, it's really easy to stay in the comfort zone. You don't really have to do that much. Just got to go to work, and then you can get all the food you want. You can get all the dates you want on dating apps, or
Mm-hmm.
um,
Like it's like instantly there. And so I feel like the need for goals is kind of, it might, I mean, I don't know. This is just me thinking now, but maybe it's getting, like the need for it is getting less and less.
yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people don't have as much of a
Yeah.
growth.
Maybe not the need, but the desire. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, yeah. No, I like that. Yeah, the a desire to grow, a desire to stretch themselves. Um, because like I know I definitely have friends where they like I don't even think they realize they're doing it, but it's like every little thing they do, it's just keeping them small.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to I don't want to give examples. I don't want people to listen to this and be like he's talking about me. But
No. I know
um
people like that too. I like that. Like keeping them small. Like, why would you want to stay small when you can get big? You know?
yeah, like one thing I do to leave my comfort zone, and I do this because I want to build up more self-control. It's like the discipline, but taking cold showers. They aren't going to kill you. They aren't comfortable, but it's like it's something you have full control of how hot the water is.
Mm-hmm.
But for me turning it cold, because there's a lot of benefits to hot showers, there's a lot of benefits to cold showers too. And so when I do that and I turn it
Mm.
cold, I just have to count to like 60 seconds. And then I'm like, then actually I can like handle it longer. But it's like knowing like I just got to get past that little bit of that just being uncomfortable for a little while. And then it's actually really not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think that applies to a lot of things. Just I don't know, maybe people have certain addictions or even just tendencies to do things that maybe aren't the best for them. But it's like I don't know. It's taking control. It's making my mind
Mm-hmm.
keeping control over my body with my mind by doing that because everything about me wants to either turn off the water or turn it back to like warm, hot to a comfortable temperature.
Mm-hmm.
When it's cold, it's like I have to be very conscious about like what I do and
So you're saying goals keep us in control of our lives.
yeah, they keep us in
Yeah,
control.
I think that's kind of what I got from what you said. Like the
Yeah,
cold showers and stuff. Like, I mean, it's a little goal, right? Because you're
yeah.
like, I want to be in control.
It's just growing that
I
little
want to know
bit
what I'm
every day.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
doing
I want
something
to get out of
small.
my comfort zone. And it's
Mhm.
true. I think maybe that's right. Like, goals really keep you in control of your own life, like your own thoughts, your own actions.
Yeah,
So if you have no goals, I mean, I'm not saying you're not in control, but you're at risk from being not in control.
yeah. Being in a routine that you didn't create.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, what what are some of your like I don't know. What are some of your personal goals or here, let's do this first. When like how do you get a new goal? Like how do you decide, okay, I want this. Like this is a goal that I want to obtain at some point. Like how do you decide what that is for yourself?
I wouldn't say there's any like big thing that really makes me want to make a new goal. I think it's just kind of like over the process of like of time, just realizing that I'm not doing good in an area. Um, I'm just like, man, I need to change, and it usually starts with that, and
Yeah.
you know, in my mind, and I know like my whole brain is telling me like, Adam, you need to change, like, and you know, and sometimes it takes a while for me to actually understand it. Because sometimes I'll just like, man, I just don't feel right. Like I don't feel good. Like I just feel off. But I think for me, a lot of times it's I'm not doing something that I know I ought to be doing or something that I want to be doing. And so I'll kind of sit down and do like a self evaluation like, okay, where are you at? Where do you want to go? And what are you doing to get there? You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's how I come out with a lot of my goals. Um, like I've had a goal since I was a kid to be a firefighter. Um, and going through school, that's like I like breathed it, I talked about it, I studied it. I just wanted to do it. I was like, that would be the sweetest job on the planet to run through fire to save somebody's life and to save the world. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And I was like, it's dangerous, it's scary, but like it's rewarding. And then I got older, and then I was a freshman in high school, and I was taking this career exploration class, and I had this teacher. He's a great teacher. And he's like going around. He's like, "Oh, what do you guys want to do?" And I was like, "I'm not sure what I want to do, but I really would like to be a firefighter." It's like I would like to try that out. He's like, "Do you know how much they make?" And I was like, "No, not really, but it doesn't really matter to me. Like I think I can make it work." And he goes, "Firefighters don't make crap. They don't make nothing." And I was a freshman in high school. I was like, "What?" And it kind of crushed my dreams, and I just kind of forgot about it. And I was like, "Well, I guess if I can't support a family or can't
Yeah.
support myself, why would I chase that dream?" So I kind of forgot about it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always been on the back of my mind. And now I just applied to be a wildland firefighter, and I hope it goes through.
Yeah.
But, I think about that all the time, and I'm like, I've had this goal since I was a kid. And it's kind of like that self-evaluation thing I went through. Like I work at a prison now as a correctional officer. And I like the job, but it's not exactly what I want to do for my whole life, And I think it was definitely a step up from where I was at. When I had that self-evaluation, was like, I sat myself down and I was like, "All right, Adam, like, are you happy where you're at?" I was like, "I don't know. I don't know if I'm happy."
Yeah.
Like, it was like, "Okay, well, if you're not happy, then what are you doing to not make you happy?" And I was like, "Well, I could." So I named off a few things that I was going through, and it's like, well, and a big part of it was a job, and I was like, "Well, what could you do to get out of it?" It's like, "Well, I can just apply. Like, I can try." It's like, try to be a firefighter. And so then I made a goal, and I was like, okay, by this summer, I want to do one season. I'm going to try my best to do one season of wildland firefighting. And then after that, I'll kind of gauge how I'm feeling. And so it pushed me out of my comfort zone to apply for new jobs. And even though I'm still in a good job now, and I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's like a short example of the process I go through with everything
Yeah.
to make a goal.
Sounds like you just have this like desire within you to constantly be better today than you were yesterday. And I think that makes it a lot easier. I think everyone has a desire to be that way, actually. I mean, maybe some people, they don't really give a crap, but I think everyone like wishes they were more confident, wishes they were, I don't know, had a higher fitness level, wishes they were more financially successful. I think everyone wishes that, but I think there are some people that where it's just something they wish they had, and some people it's like they want and they're actually doing action steps to get there.
Right.
So,
What about you? What do you do to make goals for yourself? What have you done?
yeah. So for me, I was taught when I was like 19 to create a vision board, and that's kind of when I learned to set goals for myself. Like I remember beforehand, like I remember talking to a friend years ago, probably when I was like 16, 17, who was like, I'm going to make $100,000 a year, which I think is still a great goal and was then. But I've definitely expanded from that. It's like, I definitely want to like make more money than that at some point. And it's not necessarily about the money. It's more about what I can do with it. Like the choice, the more like I'll have more choices with it and I can help more people with the more I have. But what I do, honestly, I think I just have a desire to do something, and that desire will stay with me for probably, I don't know, a couple of days, maybe a week.
Like never leaves.
Yeah.
I go through that too.
When I keep thinking about it.
Yeah.
And when I realize I keep thinking about it and I want something, I want to do something,
You should probably do it.
that's when it's like, okay, this is going to be a goal. And I definitely believe that goals not written down or like written down and placed on a wall or somewhere you can see them. They're more just like, that'd be nice.
Yeah. I
Versus
think
then a goal.
it was Confucius once said. He said the palest of ink is better than the palest of minds. And
What does that mean?
And
Wait,
so
I've never heard
I'll break
that.
it down. I'll break it down. or something along the lines of that. I had someone tell me that, and it's always stuck with me.
Yeah.
So, like ink, think of a pen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pens have ink, the palest of inks. So you go a step lower. What's lower than a pen? Like, what's a grade lower than a pen? Do you know?
Uh.
What do you draw? What do you write with?
Pencil.
A pencil.
Okay.
Right. So the palest of ink, or something that can be erased, you know,
Gotcha.
or even ink that's not even there, or right, or is like there's like almost nothing there. It's better than a pale mind, or in other words, like a soft, like transparent, maybe like clear, empty mind.
Yeah.
And so it was. The point was, I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah.
Confucius.
While you're looking that up, there was this quote that's always stayed with me. It's done is better than perfect. Because I think for me, one, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist and I always want things to be perfect, but it's like, it's better just to do something like this podcast. Like we could totally find a studio and have it look way better and sound better and pay someone to edit it and it would just be phenomenal. But if we always want things to be perfect, things will probably either not get done or they'll just take so long that we won't grow near as fast as if we just started. So, anyways, do you have that quote?
Almost.
But yeah, done is better than perfect. Just get it done, get moving.
Yeah, I think you learn along the way too.
Oh,
Like
100%.
it's okay like to suck.
It is okay to
Like
suck. Like failure is a stepping stone to success.
like I say that a lot. I feel like I say that a lot to people. Like I'm like, yeah, I like kind of suck sometimes. And I think a lot of people think I'm like bagging on myself or like, but to me it's like I think it reminds me personally to say that about myself, to like be like, it's okay, like you're not great, man, but you're good. Like
Yeah.
like you're getting better. Like it's okay to suck. And so in other words, like it's okay to do something and be horrible at it. Like that's how you learn. Like
Yeah.
you can't learn if you don't. Like no one's good at playing piano the first time they sit down on a piano bench, you know?
Yeah. I feel like people get discouraged when they see those famous musicians. I'm not even
Musicians.
musicians.
Good job.
When people see them and they're like, oh, they're so good. They just have this natural talent. But I've heard a lot of them tell their stories about how they used to hate practicing and they like, I don't know, all of them had a first lesson where they didn't even know what the names of the keys were. So yeah, it's okay to suck for a while, you
Yeah,
know?
I agree. I agree.
And yeah, I think a lot of people forget that. I know I forget that sometimes, like almost afraid to start because I know I'll be, I don't know, I'll just suck in the beginning, or I'm afraid of like
Uh-huh.
people's judgment that they're going to say, oh, wow, Skylar thinks he can do this or he can do that. And he just wants to do everything, but like he's not good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I found the quote.
Okay.
So I guess I quoted it wrong. The guy who told me, I mean, he said the palest of ink is better than a pale mind,
Mm-hmm.
but kind of the same thing. It says the palest of ink is better than the most retentive memory.
Okay.
So in other words, like you might have like the sharpest brain, or like you have you ever been in a situation like I'll never forget this, and then and then
Yes.
you forget, like you have a goal, or you have something you want to do, and I'll never forget this, like it's that important to me. But like how often do we really forget? So writing
All
it
the
down
time.
is far better than just trying to remember it yourself.
Yeah, and that's something I've started doing when I have an idea or a goal or like, oh, I want to do this someday. I have to take out my phone right then and write it down because I
Mhm.
will forget it within 2 minutes. And sometimes that's, we get inspiration at random times.
Yeah.
We can't really um, I don't know, anticipate when it'll come. So always write it down. And I was watching this class that, do you know who Sarah Blakely is?
Uh-uh.
She is she started Spanx, like women's clothing. Anyways,
Wow.
so she's like billionaire. She's very smart. She's a really cool person actually. But she would go on drives. She would take like, I think her work was like 15, 20 minutes away, but she would take back roads and go a different way. So it took an hour for her to get to work because she knew when she was in the car, that's when she would get inspiration. And she would literally have like, she'd think of something and pull over to the side of the road and like write it down and then continue on her way to work. And so it's like, there are ways, I don't know, like I feel like when I'm in the car, that's like when my brain just goes. As long as I'm not listening to music, but I start to get that inspiration, those ideas, but gotta write it down or I'll forget.
Yeah. Write them down. Write them down. Yeah. I don't know. I got to get better at writing down my goals, but like when they're important, I always write them down.
Yeah.
Like I have I wrote a journal for a while, and I've kind of slowed down on that. Um, but like my journal now is more just like I'll have a day where I'm like I need to remember this day, or like I feel like this day was pretty pinnacle in something or whatever reason, and I write it down. But then I have this other notebook that whenever I have an idea that comes to my mind or a thought like that's really profound or like maybe really heavy on me, I'll start writing, and it always has something to I don't know, and I'll go back and I've read some pretty profound things in this little notebook, but I think it's just because I made a goal. Like when I do feel this way, when I do feel super sad, super depressed, super happy, excited, or like I feel inspired in some way, shape, or form, I write it down in this notebook whenever I can. And then I see that like every day in my room. And so I always remember, like you can pick that up and read it, or you can pick that up and write in it anytime. And I don't know, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's really cool. So let me show you this. If you're listening, you won't be able to see this, but yeah, when I was 18 or 19, learned about vision boards. And basically what I was taught and told that if I took a picture of whatever I wanted, it could be a skill, it could be a vacation, it could be an object. If I took a picture of that, put it on my vision board, had a description under it as detailed as possible, and if I looked at it every day and visualized myself owning it, having it, or being that, it would start to just happen. Things would come into life that would just open up doors for me to accomplish that goal. And I found that true. And I've also found other things with it too. But let me kind of tell a few stories. So the first thing was I just drew a really crude picture of a Mustang because I just wanted a.
It looks really good.
No, it doesn't. But I like just wanted a first car, and an old Mustang was like pretty affordable. So, anyways, got it, and it was great. I like bought it for $2,500, put some money into it, fixed it up, sold it for $5,000. It ended up being like the perfect car for me to like learn how to drive stick on, and like it didn't like I made money owning that car for 6 months or however long I had it.
Good.
I put on that I wanted this laptop, and I actually got one better than that was on this for a super good deal. I owned it for 5 years, and I sold it for I think $100 less than what I bought it for after 5 years, which I thought was pretty darn good.
Yeah, it's $100, man.
Yeah,
got $100 out of that.
Okay, so I put on that I wanted to go to Hawaii because I've seen pictures of Hawaii. I thought, looks awesome and be a really fun vacation. So I put that on there. I don't think my parents had any idea I put it on there. And we've never done a big vacation as a family. Like it's always like go down to Lake Powell or California or I don't know, one of the national parks. And so I put that on my vision board. And it was a couple months later that Christmas, my parents like surprised us and they were like, "Hey, guess what? We're not really doing a big Christmas this year, but we're going to Hawaii in like 4 or 5 months."
No way.
I was like, "What the crap?"
That's
like,
crazy.
Like we've never done that.
So you didn't talk to him about it at all?
I didn't talk to him about it at all. Not that I remember. It was a while ago. This was 2017 when we went. I put it on in 2016, I think.
Wow.
And so I kept the plane ticket and put it on there. But that happened. I won't go through all of them. I'll just go through like the cooler ones. Okay, so here's another one. I wanted to go skydiving. This was in 2018, so I wanted to go skydiving. Didn't tell anyone about it. It was just on my vision board to look at it. I imagined myself doing it. And out of the blue, my cousin, who I've been good friends with for a long time, calls me and is like, "Hey, want to go skydiving? There's a discount on this day. Want to come?" I was like, heck yeah, I want to come. We've never talked about skydiving before. And it was just like totally random, but it didn't happen until I actually put it on there and started visualizing myself going skydiving. I'll talk about.
That's crazy, man.
So another one was I wanted a Mustang, another one, because I sold it. I've owned like 10 different cars.
Yeah, no, that's not bad. Not
But
bad at all.
I wanted the Mustang Bullet, and I wanted it in like a specific package and like certain features and everything. And I just kind of got obsessed with it for a while. And the closest Ford dealership to me, like a month or two later, they got the exact one. Like there's 100 different ways you could have optioned like this car out, and they got it exactly the way that I wanted it. I was like, what the heck? I have to go look at it. And so I
Uh-huh.
went and looked at it, and I went a couple times, and then eventually I did get it. And so,
Wow.
yeah, it was crazy. It was an expensive car, and I eventually sold it because I wanted to be debt free and just buy in cash later on. But I got it from knowing exactly what I wanted, and putting my focus into it.
I think maybe that's a big thing about goals is like you find out exactly what you want.
Yeah.
So then when you find it, you're not hesitant to get it because you put thought into it.
Yeah. That's a big thing, knowing exactly what you want.
And I don't know.
The last cool one I have is I wanted a subscription to Masterclass.
What is that?
It's like it's like a Netflix for learning.
Oh.
It's really cool, really high quality content, but really powerful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like $200 or something like
A
that,
month?
like for the year.
Oh.
And
Whoa.
so I put it on there, and a little while later, they did a deal where it was like $1 for a year.
Whoa.
I know. So I was like, I'm getting that.
Get that real fast.
So got my subscription and put it in my done folder. And yeah, so basically what I'm saying is like when we set our minds to something, we do like things for me I've seen have started to happen, but I've also accomplished a lot of goals that I never put on my vision board.
Right.
And the reason it's not like just because I put something on my vision board doesn't mean it will happen. And just because I don't put it on doesn't mean it won't.
Mm-hmm.
What I've realized is it's wherever our focus goes, this is a quote, wherever our focus goes, energy flows, and then it'll happen.
Whoa.
Shoot. So yeah, like
No,
it's whatever we put our energy into. That's
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah, it's like I used to live in Arizona, and when I moved to Utah, I mean, there was a lot of reasons why I moved to Utah, but I like came and visited. I had family here, and I just like it. I liked it. I was like, it's a good area. I like my family's like I have a couple siblings here. I feel like this would be a good spot for me. And I remember getting ready, and I figured everything out. And I think the only reason I was able to sort things out before I left was that I knew I was going to come. I knew what I wanted, and I wasn't going to let anything in my way to like stop me from accomplishing this goal to move to Utah. And so I figured out a place to live, and that was the big thing. I found a place to live for pretty cheap. And I remember leaving Arizona. The day came. I think it was like the 28th of December in 2019. I don't know why I remember that, but I do. But I remember I threw everything in my little Blazer that morning, and I was driving away, and it was like a 14-hour drive, and I got about 30 minutes into the drive, and then it hit me, and it set in, and it was like, oh crap, you know. And I was
doing
like,
it.
I was like, I don't have a job, I have almost no money, and I have no idea what I'm doing. I was like, what if I got in a car accident on my way there? I was like, what if I broke down in the middle of nowhere? What if when I get there, I don't get a job? What if when I get there, like I don't have any friends, or like, you know? I was like, and then I have to come home, and I was like, I don't want to come home.
Yeah.
Like, you know, not like I love my family to death, but it's not my family. It's the area that I don't want to go back to. And I was like, I don't want to live back there ever again. And so I was like, well, and then after that, like I had like, you know, probably like 10, 15 minutes of like serious doubt and kind of fear. And then I realized, you know what? It's okay. You know, you got to wing it. Like, you'll figure it out, man. Like, if something happens, like, just figure it out. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then it was over. And then I really haven't been fearful since. And it's been huge. It's been almost 2 years. And I have a good job. And I've got a lot of friends. And, you know, I like goals like this would never be possible to sit down with somebody on a podcast or something they wouldn't be possible if I never moved. And but I think initially when we start to accomplish a goal, I think sometimes we get scared. At least I do, and we kind of doubt. But if we push through it, it work out.
Yeah. No, yeah, I definitely get that fear in me. And I think there's a lot of power in just starting. Like you came up here not knowing. It's a really cool story, by the way. But you came up here without a job, with like without a
No,
place to live,
yeah, no bed.
no bed. Like there's a lot of power in just starting, and like get out of your head. Like stop planning, and just start. Just do. And I found when I just start doing something, I learn 10 times faster what I need to do to be successful than if I would have just been planning the whole time. Like I don't know, there's so much power. Like if you want something, just start going for it. Start that business. Just ask that girl out. Just do something to move yourself forward and stop thinking about it, and you will move 10 times
Yeah,
faster in life.
something's better than nothing. You know,
Done is better than perfect.
that's
Like
true.
just go.
That's true. I don't know. I think goals are super important, and I think without goals, we'll be kind of lost.
Yeah.
And you, like the greatest leaders of our nation, of the planet, of the world, they were nothing without goals.
Yeah.
Like they saw something that they needed, or that they felt like needed to be changed, and they made a goal to change it, and then they did it. And they weren't perfect at it. A lot of them were killed for it, but like they changed the world. And it's
Yeah.
like goals drive us, like good goals, like not bad, like goals that will bring us to higher places
Mm-hmm.
and to higher people. You can move mountains. And I think without out goals, we're nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, real talk, what's like your scariest goal? Or what are some of your goals? But like, let's start with like the scariest one.
My scariest goal, that's a tough question. I don't know.
Like for me, like I just think this would be so cool. And I think it would say, because like I've never felt like I'm a really smart person. I've never felt like I don't know, am more like accomplished than like a lot of my friends.
Mhm.
And so what I really want to do, I want to make $1 million. Okay. That's like one of my goals, like have $1 million in my bank, like before I'm 30. Cause one, that would just sound cool. Like just be a millionaire. And more about the journey, like what I'll learn, like what I need to become to be able to accomplish that goal is obviously like to me way more valuable than the $1 million. But if I don't set that goal to like make $1 million, then I won't actually expand to the point
To get there.
yeah, to get there, to be
Mhm.
the kind of person that can like one, handle that much money, but two, like create the systems, create the cash flow to be able to bring in that much and have that much sitting in there. I don't know. I think it'd be so cool
That is
to
pretty
have
scary.
$1 million. But it's like it's $1 million.
I mean, that's scary to me. I mean, very similar. It's not really money wise. Like money. I don't really think about that when I think of this goal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like associated with it, but I really want to like run a company, or like
Yeah.
be like a founder of a company, or like a movement, right? Be the leader of a movement, like the face of the face of a community,
Yeah.
right? Like not to like, not that I'm like higher than everybody else, or like everyone worships me, or things like that. Like not to that degree at all, but just like a leader of a good cause, and like to be able to spread that, and like to be a voice to the world in that way, to represent somebody, to represent a group of people. And like it's scary to me because I'm like I don't even know if I can do that.
But you
You know?
can't. You just got to start.
It's like, and it's like I don't even know how to get there, but like I'm trying to do things that will build me up to that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's that's scary to me because especially nowadays I feel like opinions and thoughts are so criticized and ridiculed. And it's like,
Yeah, they are.
but it's like I still want to stand up and say something.
Yeah.
But
No, yeah, I like that. And I've heard a lot that people really started to make a lot of money when they stopped focusing on the money and they just focused on helping people, adding value to people's lives, and like how many people could they impact. That's when they really started to make money and be that like quote unquote successful person they wanted to be. So no, yeah, I like that a lot. Just it would be cool to like be the founder of some big company or like, an organization
Yeah.
that helps people.
Yeah, it would be sweet. So that's like, I don't know, it's wild.
Yeah. My phone just went off.
Oh man, awkward.
What's another
Awkward.
goal? Like I want to give people example of like, I don't know, for someone that like doesn't have any goals or doesn't have them written down.
It's like something smaller.
Yeah, what are some things that like personal goals that you have right now?
A personal goal that I have right now, like I care a lot about my health, about my body. A personal goal I have is to just go to the gym every day. It's
So
pretty simple.
yeah, kind of.
It's pretty simple,
It is really simple.
and like, just like to exercise,
Mm-hmm.
because I know that one day I won't be able to,
Yeah.
and but I feel like this will help me exercise for as long as I can throughout my entire life. And it's scary to me to think that one day I won't.
What do you mean one day you won't?
Like,
Expound on that.
like I'm afraid like maybe I'll get sick or I'll like break my leg or like,
Okay.
right? Or like I'll get like a disease or something. And then I won't be able to actively go out and be
Gotcha.
like to exercise. And so I have a goal to just go out, try like every day and do something about it, and like go to the gym and try to get stronger, try to get bigger,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very personal, like a personal goal because no one else can really help me with that.
Right. You have to do it all.
I have to do it all by myself, and I have to eat right, and I have to, so it kind of encompasses other things, but
Yeah, I think there's like a lot of other benefits than just being strong that come with working out. Like if you want to have a healthy mind, healthy body, just like go to the gym, spend 30 minutes, hour. And I think a lot of people have gym memberships, but they don't go.
hmm oh, tons.
Why do you think that is?
It's hard.
It is hard. Yeah.
It's hard to go. Like when I first started going, like it's really intimidating because you have those like guys that go to the gym always. I mean,
They live
I
there
think
almost.
that's like my second home, so I guess I kind of fall under that category. But they're like bigger than you and they're stronger than you and they look scary. And then you're
Comparison.
like this little scrawny guy or girl just walking in, like I don't know what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and it feels like everyone's judging you. But in reality, they're just trying to get pumped.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Everyone's there for themselves.
So after I kind of like realized that like nobody really cares, like they may look at you and go, "Oh, well, that's weird," but like
They don't really care. And
like
who, like,
it used to bother me if I wasn't lifting like enough or like a lot compared to other people around me. But then you get hurt, and then I was like, you know what? I don't care because like I was like my shoulders are way more important to me than like being able to move my arms are way more important to me than like lifting like doing 80-pound dumbbell flies. It's
yeah,
like
holy crap.
you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
can't do that, but
Yeah, I can't.
like 20 max. But like it's like
Yeah,
and
I
like
think it's funny how we create people's like thoughts of us. Like we don't actually know what they're thinking. We don't know if they're actually looking at us, but we always just like make a guess like what they're thinking. Like I remember all my friends were going on missions and I hadn't gone and I was still going to like the family ward and I was like the only one there. And I felt super uncomfortable because I just kept making up stories about what people thought about me and what they were saying about me. And
do you think that kind of hindered your progression?
a little yes and no, because if I hadn't been in that space, and one, I wouldn't understand what it's like to be there, and I couldn't help someone else who's also in that space. But yeah, it did, because like I kind of stopped going to sacrament meeting for a while because like I just didn't really feel, I don't know, comfortable being there because of the stories I told myself. So like going to the gym, seeing all these people, were like, oh, they're looking at me. It's like we need to stop like flattering ourselves that everyone's thinking about us and talking about us, in a way.
Yeah.
Like we just like
I
Just
think
do
that goes
you.
with that self-doubt we were talking about when you make those goals.
Yeah.
Like you make a goal and then you start to try to do it, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, I can't do this. I'm not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no way I'm going to succeed. But
Got to control that inner voice.
mm-hmm,
Like that's a big skill on its own, is controlling our thoughts. Like I wish I had the numbers in front of me, but we have like 96, like 100,000, I don't even know, some crazy number of thoughts every day, and like 90% of them are negative. Like all ages, everyone.
mm-hmm,
And we got to, like, if we don't control that, and or at least aren't conscious with what we're thinking, like that can consume us. Like, and it does a lot of people. Like I've had times in my life where I felt a lot of anxiety, felt like dealt with depression and stuff like that. And it's I think a lot of it has to do with controlling our thoughts, and the big thing is like not comparing.
mm-hmm.
Like,
And going back to why we think goals are important in the first place, or you have a goal, you're in control.
yeah.
Goals control us. Like, like when we put something down, when we make a goal about ourselves, about our life, about something, like we're saying, I will make this happen. I am in control of my life. Like I am the captain of my ship.
Right.
Like there is not another captain. Like I am the captain.
Yeah.
And the first mate,
And
right?
the first thing, yeah.
And the crew, what I mean?
Right.
Like you run it. And at this point in our lives when we're single and like that's it. Like we're doing it kind of alone. But like that's
Mhm.
okay. Like
Yeah.
eventually we'll find crewmates.
Right.
And it's finding people that like those similar things, and then we tackle it head on together.
Yeah.
And we make a big ship. We sell our little ship to get a big one.
Yeah. Being around like-minded individuals is it's very important. Like we're the average of the 5 people we spend the most time around. And I've noticed that recently, like spending time with certain people that kind of play a little like small, don't have that growth mindset. I saw myself kind of changing to like not care as much. I was like, holy crap, I'm like kind of going down this way and I don't want to. They're still great people, still talk to them all the time. But like I just got to be conscious, like, to stay in that growth mindset. And yeah, having people around you that have similar goals in life, super important, really valuable. Um, something I learned this week, not really learned, like kind of relearned in a way, I guess, is
Remembered?
yeah. Because I was watching a TED talk about goals, and he talked about a lot, like he's like talking about his story, how he's not this crazy smart person. He'd usually get C's in his classes. He didn't really do all these great things, but then he started setting goals, and he had a goal to read. Like he was not a good reader, kind of like me. I'm not a good reader. I hate it, kind of. So this really like spoke to me. But he said that he put a goal, set a goal to read like 5 books. No, 50 books within a year or something like that. So that's a lot of books. And so he's like, if you think about it in a big chunk, like 50 books, it's kind of overwhelming. It's a lot. I don't think most people will start, because at least I wouldn't, because it's like, whoa, that's I don't know, a fear. 50,
Mm-hmm.
50 books. And so what he did was he's like, okay, just think about it as one book. Think about it as one page. Think about it as one sentence. And then think about it just as that one word. Like, to accomplish this big goal, you just got to take those small steps. And so he's like, that's how he would think about it. Is he's like, okay, step 1 to accomplish this goal, pick up the book. Step 2, walk over to the couch. Step 3, sit down on the couch. Like, he would break his big goals up
Break it down.
into really small steps,
Manageable. Mm-hmm.
very manageable. And he would just read the one word. He's like, okay, once I read that word, I've read part of this book. Then just read the next word and just keep going and going and going. And I haven't done it quite to that extent, but he talked about how many things he accomplished and how many goals he got done by using that method. It's like, I'm trying to think of other things he done. He wanted to hike, like he's a little out of shape at one point in his life, and he wanted to hike like 10 of the biggest hikes in the state he was in. And so he realized he had to break this down from making different decisions at home So like to get to the trailhead to start, he had to turn off the TV. He had to then just put on his shoes. Like his goal was to put his shoes on. And then his next goal was start the car, get in the car, start it, get to the trailhead and just start walking.
Mm-hmm.
And he really broke his goals down like so small, but it's like the decisions we're making right now are either helping us get to our goals or they're not. And so I think it's important that when, I don't know, like when we set a goal, you got to just stay conscious, like is watching this TV or hanging out with these people or, you know, staying in this job, is this getting me closer to those goals or is it kind of keeping me away from it?
Right. It's like not. Yeah, I think when we get lost too, we're looking beyond the mark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're like, oh, well, that's like maybe our goal, like you said, to go hike that trail. Like that's our mark right there. But in reality, like our mark that we should be focusing on is something smaller, like putting our shoes on. So we look beyond it, and then we kind of get lost. You know what I mean? And we're just like stressed out, and we don't do it.
Yeah, like if you're just wanting to get from like in a building level 1 to level 2, and you got to go up a bunch of stairs. Let's say every step was taken out except for the first one and the last one. It's impossible to get to the top level. Like these little goals, small steps towards getting it is necessary. Like if so, like one of my goals is just put $100,000 in savings. That's like my first goal in like having my million, I guess. But like having 100,000, I just need to break that down to $1,000, $2,000. Do that 100 times. When I break it down to just save $1,000 100 times, I was like, that
makes sense.
That's way easier. Or just save $100 10 times and then do that 10 times. You know, like breaking it down really,
it makes it manageable
and it's more motivating.
Yeah,
it's like, this is easy. Like it's actually not as hard. Like it's hard to get $100,000 at once. It's a lot easier to just get that first dollar.
Yeah, something I read once. It was while I was serving my mission in Idaho. There was this book, and I think this was probably the greatest book I ever read on my mission, and it was called Adjusting to Missionary Life. And it was just dealing with, like, it had nothing to do with, like, the principles, like it did. Like it brought it up. But, like, it had more to do with your mental well-being and, like, your like, how to get through it, because it's hard, you know? And one of the things it says, like, when you're lacking motivation, like you said, a lot of times the motivation comes after you start. And so it's like, just because you don't want to do it, like, doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Like if you know you should do it and you know you want to do it, like, it's okay not to want to do it at first. But it's like, a lot of the time when you start, the motivation comes afterward. And so you might not, I don't know, like, and I think maybe that's that fear coming in the way again too. Like fear to finish that goal. Like you have a goal to get out and do something good today, and you're like, well, I'm bogus. I can't help anybody. I can't even help myself, you know? And so you don't even get out of your house. But if you get out and then, like, the motivation comes afterward, you know, maybe I'm not bogus. Maybe I don't suck. Maybe I can help myself. Right. I just helped that person. I can help another one. And slowly you change you change the world. And I think, I don't know. I think about that a lot, because it's like, I don't want to do this. Well, I should do it anyway, and I'll be able to get it done, and I'll be motivated afterward. And usually that's how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, if we only did the things we felt like doing, I would probably be dead by now from eating so unhealthy, you know? Like I only feel like eating pizza and
I'd probably be dead.
Yeah. Well, think about it. Like I would not be eating healthy. Like sometimes I'm like, you know, I don't know, just like sitting on the couch. Like if I only did what I felt like doing, like I probably wouldn't go to work. I would just feel like sitting in my bed all day and
we'd live with our parents.
We'd live with our parents.
That'd be kind of.
I wouldn't feel like paying bills. I don't like, I don't feel like paying bills. I don't feel like working out. I don't feel like doing a podcast with, like, I want to, obviously.
Yeah, no, but some days you're like, oh man, I
I don't
guess
feel like getting out of my comfort zone is what
like
I'm saying.
yeah, no, I got you. No, I feel the same way. It's like I don't want to get up this early and like do
Right.
this. Like maybe you should just push it back, do another day. I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll be ready, but in reality, like you just got to go do it.
Yeah. I think everyone is finds that motivation at different times and in different ways. So I
Mhm.
think it's really important to find out what you got to do to get yourself to take that first step towards your goals. And always remember that you won't see big results in
Yeah.
a little bit of time.
Right.
It's just like working out, just like going to the gym. You got to go for a while before you start seeing results.
Mm-hmm. I think
And-
you'll feel it before you see it, and I think that's like,
Yeah, you kind of feel it coming.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, like when you work out, like you're in a lot of pain,
Yeah.
but you look the same as you did yesterday, you know. And
it's
like,
so frustrating.
and you're like, why do I hurt so bad? But in reality, like you're changing, but it's not gonna like show itself until later.
Yeah.
And recognizing that, and like sometimes we change so slowly we don't even recognize that we're changing.
Right.
And then before we know it, we look back and we're like, oh crap, what happened? Or we're like, wow, I'm doing pretty good, you know?
Right.
And so, I don't know, just taking those, I don't know, it's a perspective, I guess.
Totally.
The right perspective and the right people and motivation around you can really help you make the goals that you need in your life. But you got to take that step to go and do it. Even if you don't want to do it, I think you should do it.
Yeah. It's true. It's all on us to get it done.
Mhm.
No one's going to do anything for us. So, well, hey, this has been an awesome conversation. So, like, in review, goals are what, I don't know, it's like setting a roadmap for ourselves. It's hitting start on like my maps on my phone to get me to
Mhm.
where I'm going.
They keep us under control. Like we're in control. Like we're the master of our own selves
Mm-hmm.
when we keep goals.
Yep. So set goals, visualize your goals. I think to me that's a big one, is visualizing what I want to have done. Even if it's just I want to make this 3-pointer. Make it in my head like before I do it like physically.
Mm-hmm.
And no goal is too small. No goal is too big, as long as you can break it up into smaller goals. And I think a big thing in starting to set goals is start with, or even with the vision board, is start with something you know you can do to kind of build that confidence in accomplishing more things and getting more done. Is do something you know you can do, like go for a run to the mailbox and back. Like something super simple. It's like that'll take you maybe 45 seconds, but do something you know you can do and check, done, and just have those small wins. And then I would tell someone to eventually then always go to that next level, take that next step.
Yeah, little victories lead to big ones, you know?
Yeah,
And so,
they do.
I don't know. I agree.
Cool. Anything else you want to add? It's been going for about an hour.
I think just like wherever you're at in life, like it's okay. Like you might be having a hard time, you might be in a bad spot, or you might be doing freaking fabulous, you know. But like regardless of where we're at, like we can always do something to change ourselves in a good way. And if you're in a bad spot, like I know it's really hard to listen to people who you feel like have it figured out, but in reality, it doesn't matter where we're at in this like path of life. Like we're all still trying to figure it out. Like no one's better than another, and I think it's just all about worth ethic. So I don't know. Like it's okay where you're at, but make sure that you're trying to stretch yourself in some way. Whether that's changing the people that you're around, whether that's maybe changing the way that you think.
Change the temperature of the shower.
Yeah,
Do that a little bit.
Change the temperature of the shower. Like do something to take control of your life in a little way. And I can promise that moves mountains. And like at first it might not sound like it, and it might not feel like it at first, But as you do it, you'll see it eventually as you turn around, like I said, and you'll go, oh, crap.
Yeah. I would even say it probably won't feel like it
Yeah.
at first. Like expect to feel like you're not making any progress.
But I promise you are. Like, I think that's something that we both talked about. Like whatever you do, just go out and do it. And like it will change and it will get better. Visualize what you want. Make a plan and go get it. And those goals that you have, I mean, they'll become accomplished. But you really got to want it.
Gotta want it.
Yeah.
Yep. Love it.
Love it too. Well, thanks for tuning in to Next Success, our first episode about goals.
Yep. More to come.
Yeah. Let us know what you think.
Thanks. See ya.
See you later.